Chris Evans was asked about coming back to the MCU, and he did, kind of leave a couple comments about that. One of the comments that he said is that he feels like it's not the right time yet for him to come back. So, I'll give my piece, and then I'll let comic cuts come in. I'll be honest, bro. As I said, me, you both know that Steve Rogers isn't coming back until either King Dynasty or Secret Wars. Most likely Secret Wars, and I think that with the Battle Worlds stuff coming, he's going to be prominent in the MCU again. Like we get a Nomad Project, all these other ideas. Steve Rogers coming back right now would destroy everything that Sam is building. So that's the reason why I don't think that he's going to come back. And honestly, and we're going to get into this next about the Captain America New World Order stuff after we talk about Secret Invasion. But what they're doing with Captain America New World Order, I am kind of cool of not having Steve for a while.
So I think, first of all, like all the people that are continue to post the fan-made poster Captain America: The Last Mission, that ship has sailed. If it was ever going to happen, they would have done it before the multiverse saga. The fact that we're this deep into the multiverse saga, they're not going back into the Infinity Saga. It makes no sense to the overall story, and and that's that. I was going to say something about the year is 2032. You go on Twitter, people are still saying restore the Snyderverse. But I don't think those fans are going to be doing that. I think that those fans in 2032 are going to be the biggest DCU fans. But back to the Steve Rogers thing. I actually, I wish they would bring Steve Rogers in right now. If you watch the video that we just put out about what I spoke on, the story, that what's missing from the story from the lead up to Secret Wars, Captain America is a big part of that. I would love to see the Captain America perspective, when they're trying to avoid the incursions. I think that, I always love Captain America's outlook and his perspective on a lot of things. But what's interesting is if you watch that video, and I agreed with him in The Winter Soldier, but I disagreed with him in the lead up to Secret Wars, and I took Iron Man's side. But the crazy thing is, I do think if they brought in Steve Rogers right now, they wouldn't be able to cement Sam Wilson as one of the primary characters of the MCU. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's what they want to do. I love Sam Wilson. I think he deserves his time to shine. So, I could see why you can't bring the OG Captain America back while you're trying to make the new Captain America, Sam Wilson, more prominent. So I'm okay with that, and if everyone remembers, obviously, Iron Man actually died. Captain America didn't. He was aged out. Aged out is very different than, dying. So, the door was kind of always open for Cap to come back. But I don't think people thought that was going to happen. And now Chris Evans is confirming it. The truth is, I think Steve is right on the money. It'll happen in an Avengers, Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars caliber movie. You saw the kind of sales they got from bringing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back in No Way Home. And, aside from it being good for the story, it's great for ticket sales. That's the most important thing. So I think it'll happen in a movie like that. And when it does, people are going to lose their minds.
Yeah, I agree. If they went another route where, if they made Adam Warlock a prominent character in Guardians 1 and made it to be where Adam Warlock defeated Thanos, not Iron Man, I wish that we kept Iron Man and Cap so we could have, because it would have been the perfect situation to where after the events of Thanos, they build the Illuminati. And it could have legit been Black Panther, could have been Iron Man, Cap, or even if he did it behind his back. But in the way that the MCU goes, it probably would have been Iron Man, Cap, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and then Wakanda Forever could have introduced Namor to be a part of the Illuminati, and then you bring in the Fantastic Four, which then Tony Stark asked Reed to be a part of it. It would have been the perfect situation. I think
Yeah.
that now looking at it, like looking at the MCU, bro, in retrospective, it's kind of showing me how and this might be a wild take, right? And bro, just hear me out if you don't agree, but I think you
Mm.
do agree with me. And this is why I hate you for making me read the comics, because now I see three things through the comics perspective a little too much, which is hilarious. Because now, after reading Secret Wars on Marvel Unlimited, my mindset now to everything, bro, is I get that Tony Stark and Captain America leaving the MCU helps that story, but to the wider range of what the MCU is becoming, taking them out of the equation was the biggest mistake you could have ever done.
I 100% agree. No, I do. I think that, listen, I think that if they were going to, they should have done the Captain America New World Order movie. Like movies like that, where they're going to make characters that, didn't have their own movies more prominent, should have been the first thing they did, because without Captain America and Iron Man, it's just like it's a weak roster. It's been a weak roster. We're getting characters like She-Hulk who they need to just kill off for everyone's sake. But yeah, there
Nah,
are.
I don't agree with that. Like I don't think they should kill her off, but do her justice. Like they're like
That's fair.
because with I don't want to get into new world like order stuff, but I'll just say this: if Betty Ross does become like the Red She-Hulk, then they're going to do a battle with them both, But
But here's the
it's
thing:
all about who's directing, right? You know what I mean?
She-Hulk, the show, and the fact that you want to talk about ticket sales. Obviously, it's a
Yeah,
show, so it's a little different. But Megan the Stallion twerking, I mean, that was for social media virality.
yeah,
No other explanation. But you could do the Secret Wars story, like the Fantastic Four. You could do the Illuminati and kind of change it a little bit from the comics and bring in Reed Richards. They're struggling to come up with a defense plan against the
yeah,
incursions. Then they meet Reed Richards or link up with Reed Richards,
yeah.
and Reed Richards like, all right, let me get to work.
I mean,
And
the Doctor
they're
Strange
injecting
could
the
have even
device.
exactly, and Doctor Strange, and like, what if instead of us seeing the Illuminati from from Earth 838 and the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange could have solved the issues in Multiverse of Madness. Then he could have formed his own Illuminati after that. And honestly, bro, think about this: what if Doctor Strange used the same characters from the Illuminati, right? But the only catcher is that they're just a bunch of people from different Earths. I think that's an even doper idea because now you have multiple people from different Earths looking at kind of like the stakes, I guess, and kind of keeping the peace. Because even if you don't want to recast T'Challa right now, we could
You
have
could
just
bring in
got a variant.
but there's one problem with that, and,
What?
and if they're if you can't form an Avengers team from different universes when they're all worried about their own Earth when it comes to incursions, because if that is the case, you know, a lot of them are going to backstab each other and save their own planet and screw the others over. That was like a big part of the story in the Hickman's Avengers leading into Secret Wars was, you know, uh, screw the other planet that we're going to get into this incursion with. Let's save ourselves. And now, if they're all scattered on different Earths, I just see a lot of them going to save themselves. I see, and all of them on the Illuminati were already on the let's save ourselves. So if you form the Illuminati from different planets, they're all going to be, yeah, let's save our Earth. And the more will want to save his Earth, Iron Man will want to save his Earth. Doctor Strange, everyone on the Illuminati individually will want to save their individual Earths. And I just think that is it. I just think it's too much for a story.
I agree. You're right. You're right. Because, but I do really believe that the fact that they killed off Tony and kind of retired Steve, it just, as I said, in regards to Secret Wars, it doesn't serve the story the justice that it actually deserves.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how they're going to do that, because obviously, regardless if Steve is retired, right, Chadwick Boseman was going to pass, right? R.I.P. You know what I mean? Sad story. That's really sad. But at the same time, it's like, I do think they did have plans for a Illuminati. I do think I think the untimely death of Chadwick Boseman, plus just all of the other shifts that have happened, that idea changed. And honestly, bro, I do believe that the Illuminati is going to form, and that's why I do believe that, you know, they're pushing up a Doctor Strange 3 to happen before Secret Wars and the Fantastic Four and all of these other things. I just have to see how it's going to work and how that dynamic is going to work. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's very interesting to see how they're going to kind of do everything, because I'm a little like skeptical in that sense.
You know, that's what I kind of like about the MCU is, like, even if you do read the comics, you don't know what's coming. So they keep it interesting. Obviously, you know, even reading Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War, no one could have saw what was coming. It was very different than the comics. The premise was the same, but who did what, how they saved the day was very different. So, you know, time will tell. But I do, you know, I think it was interesting in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness how, you know, Doctor Strange was the biggest threat to the multiverse. You know, is Doctor Strange going to become a bad guy? You know, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. But, you know, as I said, you know, I think after Captain America New World Order, all of our minds are going to change, and we're going to be on the Sam Wilson ride. And from all the stuff that I'm hearing about, this might be the best Captain America movie of all time. I hate to say it. I hold the Winter Soldier in high regard. This movie might top that. I ain't gonna lie.
You know, so when Spider-Man Miles Morales came out for PS5, we had the electricity and invisibility features added. And I think when, you know, Sam Wilson, when New World Order hits the screen, like, now you have a Captain America who could fucking fly. That's a big deal. And it's gonna look sick in action. The action scenes, that they could do a lot more with that. And I don't think enough people are talking about it. You know, so there's a lot of potential there. Yep. Obviously, the Captain America movies are known for the action. You know, so I don't, like I said, I've said from day one, I think that's going to be one of the best MCU movies. So I 100% agree with you.
Yep. And I think this opens up another conversation that I think that's going to be had in the next 15 years, I believe. And bro, keeping 100 with you, Miles Morales is going to be more popular than Peter.
I can see that happening too.
And Into the Spider-Verse is showing that Miles Morales is he's very popular. Like not to us, but to the kids, bro. They love Miles. So
awesome. He's a great character. Character. You know,
and Sam has that same potential that, like, if it's done right, the fans will adore him.